I tell so many of the students, I'm like, look, put it in your own words. When you're going to go through and have the AI check it, before you hit accept the changes, make sure that what that change recommendation is sounds like you, not artificial intelligence verbiage. Because it'll put in a grammar correction. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's how you would say it. And the machines that the teachers use pick it up and they'll spot it, say, nope, this was AI generated. And then you're going to get the failing point because you used AI. You didn't necessarily use it to write a whole paper, but because you used it so heavily on correcting your grammar errors.
Welcome to the Falls Home Front, where Wichita Falls leads in North Texas real estate, business, and life. I'm Tim Lockhart, realtor here in Wichita Falls, and I specialize in helping clients make strategic real estate decisions, especially in high-stakes moments like buying, selling, or a PCS relocation from Shepherd Air Force Base. Today, I'm joined by Steven Killfoil. Steven is a library assistant at the North Central Texas College and podcast host of the Crossroads Podcast. With a decade of experience in communication and procurement, he specializes in information services, digital trends, including wellness apps, blogging, and podcasting. Steven, I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me today, Tim. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. How did your procurement background prepare you to help students and locals track down resources at the NCTC?
Working in procurement taught me the connections necessary to find vendors who could meet the company's needs. Translate that back over into a collegiate level in a library. I am helping students locate the materials that they need to put together the assignments to complete the coursework. And my boss, who is the librarian, he'll step in and take it the step further for all their needs for actually composing and writing the research paper. I can help them find it because that's what my background was in, was finding things. I was very good at it.
That's great. What is the very first piece of information new North Texas residents usually ask you to find?
Oh, that's easy. Most of them are looking for places of business. Where's the best mechanic? Where can I find a good electrician? Where can I find a good plumber or a roofer? So this is one of the main key reasons we started Crossroads Podcast, because so many people, we're in a brand new area that's just exploding with growth, and nobody knows where any of these things are. However, becoming from procurement, like I was always on the lookout for those things, no matter what. So I found them very easily, and I decided, you know what? I'll make a podcast. I'll bring those businesses on the podcast, introduce them to the community, and problem solved. And it worked out very well. We always invite local businesses. We've had the fire chief, the fire marshal, the chief of police, all on the podcast introducing themselves. We had the Denton County Commissioner on the podcast, as well as the Denton ISD president. So people get to know their representative in the area. That's very important. If you don't know who your representatives are, you're just walking around blind. And that's not a good thing either.
No, that's not. Yeah. So that's how you got the idea for the podcast. How long have you been doing it?
We started the podcast back in 2018 when we first moved here, because there was a real need for communication within the town. There wasn't any. All the other surrounding towns, they had newspapers and websites, and they were set up very good. Our town, when we first moved here, it was terrible. The town government was not that great, and now it is. We've got a better mayor, a better council, better everything. We have our own newspaper. We have everything is running as is, as should be. But we had no communication, so we started Crossroads Podcast to start bridging that gap of communication lack thereof, and it became quite successful. I have listeners, ironically, from Australia, England, and some of those are my wife's university colleagues from Europe, but I don't know if they are interested in what's going on in a local town. Cool.
Yes.
But we branched out after that. After, in the beginning, it was focused primarily upon local businesses, things to do in and around the town, entertainment, music, theaters, all that are within the North Texas area, places people could go, restaurants, etc. And then we decided to throw in a little health segment because we realized, hey, people need to know how to eat right. People know how to shop right, because there's so many things, especially with health. And both my wife and I were certified herbalists, so we decided, oh, okay, we've got this podcast. Let's make a new segment called Health News with Steven and Maddie. And it worked. And that one's really taken off.
Good.
I had this Monday released a girl from Colorado who makes her own line of cosmetics out of everything natural, plant-based. So I brought her on and actually ordered some of her cosmetics. My wife's trying those out.
That's great.
It's called great. Green Goo with a purpose. So it was very interesting. So, yeah, we're always trying to bring that on. I have a doctor that I'm getting ready to bring on next that's a functional wellness doctor. That's somebody that takes it a step further than just your general practitioner. They usually cost a little bit more than your general practitioner because they're not so bogged down and tied to the pharmaceutical industry, and they actually are trying to make people well.
Yes,
and
that's important.
If they can do it in a natural way versus less pharmaceuticals, they do. That's very important to us as well.
Oh, that's great. What other topics do you cover on your podcast?
Anything that's going on in the area. We have a theater up in Pilot Point. They have plays. They show motion pictures, movies. They have comedians. They have musical entertainment. So anytime they have something going on up there, I always give it a mention or a shout out, or it'll even build them up a little bit of a commercial role and throw it in there. You know, it's free. I love my friends up there, so I don't mind doing that for them. And it gets that information out to the rest of the community. People are wondering, what the heck do we do? Where do we go for entertainment? Do we have to go all the way into Dallas, or do we have to go all the way over to Fort Worth? No. There are a lot of things you can do up in this area, in this neck of the woods, that are entertaining and fun. So I try to put a mention, car shows, Bonnie and Clyde's Day, things like that. So I'm always promoting all of those within our county, Denton counties. That pretty much covers the area.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, which specific wellness apps are currently making the biggest impact on local health routines right now?
Wellness apps are a lot like supplements. You've got to do your homework. You just don't go to Walmart and buy up whatever vitamins they offer. I would definitely highly recommend against that, because their vitamins, as was proven by laboratory tests, are not what they say they are. So you should always do your homework before you buy a supplement or download an app. Look for the reviews on it. What are people saying about it? Is it effective? Does it work? Is it something that I need right now with my body? Get with your doctor. Say, hey, will this fit me? Will this give you the information that you need? I'll give you a great example. Those CSMs that you plug into your arm and it reads and monitors your blood glucose level. Those are not just for diabetics. And now most insurance companies will either cover the costs for it or give you a little bit of a discount. And they're not as expensive as they used to be, but it's a fantastic way to dial down and identify the foods that cause you blood sugar spikes. You identify those and you can learn how to pair other foods with them to keep those blood spikes down. Because believe it or not, nutrition is key. Combinations of foods that you would never have believed possible actually keep that sugar low. Whereas I'll just give you an example. Let's say like you ate a chocolate bar. Naturally, the sugar is going to make your spike go up. But if you combine that chocolate bar with a quarter cup of walnuts, guess what? It cancels it out. It keeps it down and steady.
Does it
just
really?
A quarter
That's
cup of walnuts. Yeah. So simple things like that. Definitely.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. What about the technology we have now? Is the rise of this self-service technology helping or hurting our tight-knit community feel?
I think it's helping. People need to not be so leery of it and learn to embrace it. Learn it first and foremost. There's a program out there called Cursive, and you can run through it in 30 days, and you can learn how to adapt to and utilize AI to make your life a whole lot simpler. And I use it a lot. At the university, it's funny because the teachers are scrambling now because the kids are so far ahead of them on this AI that it's not even funny. And a lot of the kids are like, why should I do that? Why can't I just use AI? It writes my paper for me.
Right.
The teacher's trying to get them to learn how to do that themselves without the help of the AI. And I tell so many of the students, I'm like, look, put it in your own words. When you're going to go through and have the AI check it, before you hit accept the changes, make sure that what that change recommendation is sounds like you, not some artificial intelligence verbiage. Because it'll put in a grammar correction, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's how you would say it. And the machines that the teachers use pick it up and they'll spot it and say, nope, this was AI generated. And then you're going to get the failing point because you used AI. You didn't necessarily use it to write a whole paper, but because you used it so heavily on correcting your grammar errors, instead of rewriting it in your own words, I said, that's what the teachers want. Your own words, not AI grammarly correct or not that. I said, if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But then it makes you more human. To err is human.
Right.
So, but AI is great. I said, if you have a whole lot of books that you're trying to quote out, by all means, use it. Go through ChatGPT. Say, I've got book A, B, C, D, and E. I need it in MLA, MLM, APA. I need it listed out in that format. It'll do it for you. Poof. And then you just cut and paste it, and your bibliography is done. I said, that as far as using it for that, I highly recommend that because you'll waste 2 hours time trying to go space. You remember the days back when we were in high school before computers, when we had typewriters and we had to literally space bar, capitalize, italicize, underline, quote. Yeah. But it's still good for them to know how to do that. And I encourage them to learn how to do it. Go ahead and let the ChatGPT parse and space it for you, cut and paste it, but know how to do it yourself as well. And I said, it's just a plus in your act. It'll be an extra thing that you know that nobody else does. So it's very interesting. Yeah, these kids are really good at using AI. And I keep up with all the local trends and everything all the time. I'm constantly studying more and more. It is amazing what you can do. Are you familiar with the program CapCut?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I love free stuff. So I use Audacity, I use CapCut, and we're working on putting the podcast into a YouTube channel. So I'm using it more and more. I'm still learning it. I'm still learning how to do things. If I don't understand, I go to YouTube. Hey, how do I do this? How do I change my background? How do I add a sound effect? And it's showing me, and I'm doing it. I'm rocking, I'm rolling, and it's saving me a lot of time.
Yes, there are a lot of time savers. And there's been so many changes in the last just 24 months that everybody is still learning. If you're not still learning, then, in a month you're behind.
Yeah, I used to spend the better part of almost 2.5, 3 hours just on the editing side of the sound portion of the podcast. And I thought, that's too much time. I need to find out how to shorten it. So I went to ChatGPT and I went to YouTube and I looked around and I found ways. Now, when I make a recording, I go in and unless there's a lot of pauses and wordplay that needs to be corrected, I can usually have a whole half-hour episode up and running and uploaded into Buzzsprout in 15, 20 minutes, whereas before it was taking me almost 3 hours.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and there is a lot of great time savers, a lot of things that we can use AI for. And I find we got to be very careful with how we prompt it because the large language models, they're designed to go out and to search for information that's available on the internet that answers your question. A lot of times they're programmed for confirmation bias, right? So they want to give you an answer that affirms how it interprets that you asked the question. The prompts are very important, and if you don't phrase it correctly, then you can get led down a wrong path.
Absolutely. That's why usually what I'll do is if I'm prompting a script, I tell the ChatGPT what I want. So it spits it out. I will download it and I will look at it. And I don't like the way it said that, so I'll change it. And I wind up, most of the time, I wind up changing more than 75% of it to fit to where it sounds like me talking and not a robot. But I always tell it to throw in humor because it does bring up some good jokes. I'll give you that. So if you tell it to make it humorous, it will. And you can have some fun with that, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And I found the different models like ChatGPT or Claude have different kind of strengths and weaknesses. And so some are better for different applications than others.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's important for people to know also, to be able to use the right tool for the right case.
In my Santa Claus, I actually have a prompt on my phone where I can say, hey, calling the North Pole, and I have Bernard, the head elf, with a British accent. He comes up, hey, Santa, how's it going? I can say, hey, you know what? And there's a kid down here, and his name's Michael. I say, hey, do me a favor, Bernard. Tell me, what's Michael's status on the nice list? And he'll tell, oh, Michael's doing a wonderful job. He's really shining out there. Tell him to keep doing what he's doing. It's great. He's high up on the nice list. No worries. And you should see the looks on these kids' faces. It's worth $1 million. That crazy little app. And I learned that from a Santa from up north. He made the prompt and it works. And so he shared it with all the other Santa Clauses, and we all downloaded that prompt onto ChatGPT. And the more you use it, the more it grows, the more it recognizes. And I can sit there and I'll say, I'm looking in my magic globe here and I see the the reindeer have made a mess of my front yard with a bunch of carrots. What's going on, Bernard? Oh, Bernard and Santa, you know, those reindeers love to play. Don't worry, we'll have your yard cleaned up nice and neat before you get back home. And then the kids are just like, oh my gosh, because they're looking down in that magic globe and they're seeing a video of a bunch of reindeer and elves and carrots all over the yard. And they're like, oh, it's hilarious. It's a magical thing and a lot of fun. I am so looking forward to doing that one this year.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So before we start recording, you were telling me that you and your wife are Mr. and Mrs Claus. How did you start doing that?
We've been doing that for the last 6 years. We started out volunteering at the local town park during the Christmas market, and we would take pictures with kids and dogs and so forth. And we had a little Santa costume, and then my wife decided I'd like to have a Mrs. Claus costume. So we ordered matching set of Santa and Mrs. Claus, and now we've ordered our second set because you got to have at least 3 sets of Santa clothes for different things. It just, my cousin up in Topeka, Kansas, he got me involved. He kept telling me, Steven, you got to do this. You're good with kids. You're an amateur magician. This is perfect for you. You got to do this. And he says, and you can make some pretty good solid dough doing it. And I thought, well, I was putting it off. And finally he got me, and my wife looked the guy up, and there's a man, his name's Tim Cunningham, and he teaches Santa Clausology at the University of Santa Claus. I met him. He knew my cousin, and he was so happy. He was, I think he was a Marine in Vietnam, and he got voluntold into being Santa back in 1965. He fell in love with it, and he evolved the business. He's got the University of Santa Claus School, and he teaches guys how to be good Santas. And the guy's amazing. I'm going to attend another one of his classes this August. He's just incredible.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
So yeah, believe it or not, it's a lucrative business. If you love kids, you should do Santa. I'm serious. I'm serious. There's no more a greater reward than that. And you get paid. So it's great. Get paid to do something you love. It's even better.
That is good. Yeah. There's a lot of people that wish that they were living what they were paid to do.
Yeah. And there are things out there that you can do that with. There absolutely are. With real estate, you know this all too well. You have a nice flexible schedule. If you play your cards, you're able to do more things than you would, say, if you were strapped to a corporate desk 9 to 5. Granted, now, you probably work way more than 60 hours a week. However, the payoff in the long run is vastly greater. It gives you much more freedom to be with your family and do things with your family. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. After I got into this working for myself, after I retired from the Air Force, somebody told me the great thing about being an entrepreneur is that you get to work half days. And the great thing is that you get to choose which half of the day that is.
And that's true.
Which 12 hours you work.
Do you want to get up with the roosters, or do you want to wait a little while and then go to bed with the hens?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yep. So it's half days, but you get to choose which 12 hours you want to work.
Absolutely, yeah. They didn't tell you about that. The 12 hours. It's not an 8-hour shift. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah. You and your wife do a lot of volunteering. How do you recommend that people find a place to fit into their community and start volunteering?
Absolutely. First place you go to is the town meeting. If you want to find out how to get involved with your local community, start there. If you are a small town like us in Crossroads, that's where you go, because they're always needing volunteers. The Chamber of Commerce is another great place to seek out volunteer opportunities. The schools, the PTA. Yes, if you have a high school in your hometown, I guarantee you they need help. They are always looking for volunteers. You'll be able to find that. We're lucky. We're getting a high school built in Crossroads, so that's going to open up more opportunities to volunteer for us. And we're excited about that. So, yes, they're out there. You just have to know where to look. And the first place you start, town. Find out when your next town meeting is. Show up. Introduce yourself to your mayor, to your town councilman. Hey, I want to volunteer. What do you have? Oh, believe me, they'll tell you. Oh, man, the Parks and Recs Board is really needing some people, or the Municipal Development District, they're really needing some help. The Zoning Commission, they really need some help. There are opportunities out there, a plethora of them. And believe me, they are more than welcome you with open arms to help.
Yeah, that's great. Those are some good places to start, some good tips. You started a podcast, like you said, to help bring
information.
Yeah, help people gain awareness of what's going on around you in your area. How can other people use blogging and podcasting to spotlight parts of the North Texas region?
Whatever your niche is, whatever it is you're doing, if you're making straw hats or if you're making belt buckles, whatever it is, a podcast or vlog, blog, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Facebook Live events, or any social media is the best way to get yourself out there and known. And then, of course, you want to market yourself and try some of the local markets. Find out where the nearest farmer's market is to your location. Find out how much it would cost to rent a booth there. Take your product there. Try to sell it. Here in Crossroads, for $45, you get a whole year with the market. And you can get a little 10 by 10 spot and sell whatever it is you're creating. So the potential's there. You just have to hunt and seek.
Yes.
And as a procurement person doing it for so many years, I'm used to hunting and seeking and looking. A lot of people, they just, God, where do I start? All starts with an idea.
Yeah, getting started is often the hardest part, just getting over that initial inertia. Yeah. Do you see people making any common mistakes when they're trying to launch a digital platform?
Oh, of course. Yeah. First, the nervosity. They're like, oh, my God, what do I do? I'm on camera now.
Yes.
Or the nice thing about podcasts is most of them are audio. You don't have to worry about too much what you look like, but you do have to be concerned with how you present yourself audibly.
Yes.
But once you launch over into that YouTube channel, then you got to pay attention. Is my hair right? I don't know. Is my shirt? Am I ironed? Am I wrinkled? I want to look good. Am I coming across on the camera okay? Do I have a shiny forehead? Oh, my God. I better put a little bit of my wife's makeup up there so the shine doesn't blind everybody. Things like that. You don't think about those until you've done one, and then you watch your recording and you go, oh, my God. Okay, next one, I got to make sure to check all these things. And it's a learning experience. You go as you learn. Best resource, YouTube. Go to YouTube and ask them, how do I start a podcast? Buzzsprout, that's a great place to start. They've got a lot of videos on exactly what it takes. It's really not that expensive to start a podcast. All you really need is one of these and a small little digital device that can plug into your laptop. And that's all. I started off Crossroads Podcast. A friend of mine had some of these, and I borrowed them from him for a while until I got my toy. I call it my toy. I use Rodecaster Pro 2 board. I've got the ears like this, and the mics, all of that. But all in all, I got all that set up, the whole entire setup, after I had it going for a while. I spent less than $1,000 on that whole setup. $799. look for it to go on sale on Amazon. They always
Yeah.
do. And you can get on. Man, this soundboard is righteous. You have over 9 channels of separate sounds that you can record and add into your Audible podcast.
Yeah.
And I can take those same sounds and record them separately and pull them down into my CapCut on the video side of the podcast. So if I do a sound effect where I have the bells or whistles go off, I can take that same recording and load it up to CapCut, pull it down where that was in the audio portion, and have it sound off right at the exact same spot so that the video and the audio go together.
Right.
And in the beginning, it was very hard because I was having to do the audio portion first. Then I was going back and recording the video. And I said, this is crazy. There's got to be a way to separate the audio portion from the video portion. And I went on YouTube and I said, how do you separate the audio from the video on CapCut? And it showed me how to do it. And I'm like, oh, great. So now I just do the video. I run the video. I post the video up and give it a start date. And then I go back in, make a copy of it, and I separate the audio out. And I upload the audio into my Audacity and download that right into Buzzsprout. And bam, I've got the exact, and now it goes together exactly.
Nice. That's great. Steven, this has been a great show. We've covered a lot of topics. If people would like to find out more and connect with you, how do they find you?
The best way to reach me is the email. It's Crossroads Podcast 2023 @gmail.com. And I haven't made that into a professional email. Call me cheap. Gmail's free. I like free. And it's I have a professional email for my Santa business, but that's because I have a website and all that. But yeah, you can reach me at Crossroads Podcast 2023 @gmail.com and put in the subject line, you heard me on this Riverside, the Tim Lockhart studio.
The Falls Home Front podcast.
The Falls Home Front podcast. And then I'll know, oh, okay, this person watched this recording and I can go from there. That always helps to figure out how they heard about me. Definitely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And where do they find your podcast?
Oh, Crossroads, 2 separate words, podcast. I'm on over 25 streaming channels, and the YouTube channel is also Crossroads Podcast.
Okay.
So Crossroads, 2 separate words, podcast.
Okay.
Now,
great.
there's a lot of guys I found out later on after I chose the name that were using Crossroads Podcast. So I was like, okay, maybe I could have chosen a name better. That's a good piece of advice to give our listeners out here. When you're doing your podcast, make sure the name is not so popular that you have 75 different Crossroads podcasts, because there are that many.
Oh, wow, that's important. Yeah, definitely.
But mine has that little icon right there.
Okay. All right. That's good. So people that see this on YouTube can see that.
Correct.
If they're listening, then they're not going to be able to see that.
Sure.
That's okay.
And you're going to share with me the link to this so I can put it up on the YouTube channel.
Yes.
That'll be great.
Yes, that'll be great. Yes. Okay, so thank you to everyone that's listening. If you're planning to buy or sell a home in Wichita Falls, or just even starting to think about it, reach out to me directly. I'll help you understand your options, build a strategy, and connect you with the right people so that you can move forward with confidence. You can contact me directly through my website at timlockharthomes.com or message me. And if you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe and share it with someone who could benefit from it. Thanks for listening to the Falls Home Front, where Wichita Falls leads in North Texas real estate, business, and life. Appreciate you tuning in. Want more insider tips on buying, selling, and investing in Wichita Falls and North Texas? Subscribe now and keep watching. Your next move starts here.